All right, we have a couple of orders to pack and I thought it would be fun to kind of do this together. I really miss doing like these shout outs and I think this would be a really great way to practice my gratitude and express it to you guys. So we're gonna start like reading off a few orders. We're gonna keep it simple, but I'm gonna show you guys what is being ordered for my shop. I should probably be doing this in the office because that's where I have everything kind of organized, but the lighting is way better in here. So we're gonna be like going in and out of the office and the dining room. Let's start with the first order. So the first order I'm gonna pack was placed by Alexis. Thank you, Alexis. And they got the colorway Aphrodite on my Superwash DK. So here is what that gorgeous yarn looks like. And we're gonna package this up. Oh my gosh, my shipping labels. Yeah, just the one. The shipping label is always like one of my favorite parts. It just feels so satisfying to put it on there. Package number one complete. Now the next package is actually 10 hanks of yarn, but I have to cake up 8 of them. Caking is gonna take me quite a minute, so I'm gonna skip to the next order. And funny enough, this next order was placed by Alexis again as part of like the winter yarn collection. So yeah, we dyed up the winter yarns and Alexis purchased the perfect red on Nylon Sport. They got 2 hanks. Look at that red, it's just so saturated. And then they also purchased cucumber, cucumber on Nylon Sport. So I'm gonna package up these 3 hanks of yarn. Thank you. You know what? I have some mini hanks. I'm gonna throw in a couple of minis for Alexis because they literally placed 2 orders in the span of like a month. So I'm gonna include these cute little freebie minis for them. Well, do I have an update for you? I think the last time I came on camera to update this was close to a week ago. And the last few days, I really haven't had any time to work on it, but I'm starting to feel like crocheting again. So I'm gonna pick up this project again tonight because, reveal. Now, technically this is my back panel and I think I've made it as wide as I want it to be. Part of me is thinking about blocking this and kind of making it a little bit longer and a little bit wider because I would like to wear this during like spring and like early fall. So I don't know if it's gonna be like too thick, but at the same time, if I block it and stretch it out, it might become too breathable for like winter. And I also want to be able to wear this for winter. Anyways, back to the project. Now, this is the back panel. And if you guys couldn't tell, she's gorgeous. Now, the fun thing with this project is the fact that tea time is like a color shifting yarn, like it kind of alternates as you work up with it. So automatically on its own, it's gonna have kind of like a variegated, almost like self-striping colorway. But then because I'm also changing out the solid winter glow, you can really see the different colors. So like right here, you can see that really dark cocoa brown. Right here is that lighter creamier shade. And then on top of that, I have all of those kid silk mohair. Now the really cool thing is that like from afar, you can't see too much of the color. Like at least in my own eyes, it seems very, very subtle. Like, is there pink? Is that magenta? But then like you come up close and you're like, oh my God, there's a poppy color, there's a lime green. You can see the blue right there. So I kind of like that. It's just a hint, just a little speckling of color. Definitely more of like a fall winter piece. I just want to sit here for a second so you guys can kind of like soak in all of the different colors. All in all, this is what the back panel is looking like. And if you couldn't already guess, I just have to make 2 front panels now. Still trying to determine how much I want to leave off at the next section, but yeah. starting to get some progress finally on the 2 front panels. Now, I've literally just started this process. When it comes to figuring out how I want to work the 2 front panels, in theory, you know, I could keep this as simple and as basic as possible by literally just making 2 rectangles, but you guys know me in freehanding, I like to have a little bit of shape. So yeah, we're gonna try to do a little bit of like shaping on the neckline, because I'm also trying to like think proactively, as I would like to do some type of lapel situation. If you guys don't already do this, a really good pro tip is to use clothing that you have as like a template to how you want to shape your own patterns. So here is my coat from Uniqlo. I actually really like the fit of this one. And this is essentially what I want to emulate with my own coat, but probably not as professional looking. Looking at this, it looks a little bit complicated, like how I'm gonna shape it, but when I kind of unfold the collar, you can notice here that it's pretty much almost a straight up rectangle minus a little tiny bit of like neckline shaping. Now, how they did it is a little bit more complicated, and I'm not gonna go into all of that, but what I'm thinking about doing is not make the full length chain. So if my initial chain was like 90, I ended up just chaining, I think like 82. And then I'm gonna work a few rows of just basic stitches. And then I think after a few inches is when I'm going to start to increase. So essentially, gosh, I hope this is making sense. I'm shortening my front panel by a few stitches. I'm going to work a few basic rows, and then eventually I will start to increase my stitches so that it starts to like slope up the neckline. And then, you know, once everything is sewn together, I can go in and like crochet a collar. So yeah, a lot of this right now is trial and error, because I haven't really done a technique quite like this before. This is kind of where we're at right now. I'm starting here along this corner of the collar, and oh, I'm actually really close. I think on the following row, I can start working increases up the side. Now, this is a little bit more tricky for me because we are working with the vertical stripes, like the vertical construction, whereas I'm a lot more experience with this type of technique when it comes to working horizontally. Like, funny enough, I am also working on a separate project. I do have progress as well on this sweater. So you guys know with a lot of my patterns, I work horizontally, and yeah, when it comes to the neckline, I'm pretty fluid. Like, I understand how to leave off stitches at the center, you work some decreases, and then you kind of work straight up the rest of the shoulder section. So this is essentially the same technique, except instead of working horizontally with the coat project, I'm working vertically. So yeah, there's some maths that go into it that I'm not really calculating. It's more of an energy, it's more of a vibe, a feeling, and I'm just gonna kind of roll with it and see where it takes me. So yeah, I'll have to show you guys more progress on the sweater later on, but at the moment, I'm just trying to, you know, figure out what the heck I'm doing with the front panels, but I think it's going well. All in all, we're having a good time. Literally just like 2.5 rows into the front panels, but hopefully this should be a breeze. And yes, for those who are curious, I am trying to be a little bit more strategic about how I'm constructing this, because I am trying to put together some of like a crochet guide or possibly a pattern, but it's going to be like more of a guide on like how I'm kind of thinking things through. So I spent way too long like trying to analyze how I wanted the neckline to look, and then, you know, I just kind of got to a point where I was like, let's just do it. Like, let's just figure it out, let's try something, and if it works, it works. But I hate like sitting around for hours on end trying to be like super specific about something, when in all reality, I'm not gonna know until I do it. So I'm trying to pull the trigger. I'm trying to not just like mind fuck it, think it to death. I'd rather just kind of take charge and reassess as we go. So that's what I'm up to right now. When I get more progress, I'll come back and update you guys.